मछली का बच्चा अंडे से निकला, पानी में फिसला, अब्बू ने बकला, बाजी ने काटा, अम्मी ने पकाया, हम सब ने खाया, बड़ा मजा आया। तितली हूँ मैं, तितली हूँ, फूलों से मैं निकली हूँ, ठंडा पानी पीती हूँ, ऊपर पंखा चलता है, नीचे मुन्ना सोता है।
These are the children. If you drive in the metropolitan cities of Pakistan, you see them begging.
I went there and I understood the phenomena. The first day I started crying there.
These children, they go through physical, emotional, sexual abuse.
The sexual abuse is one of the high burning issue in Pakistan as well.
Their souls are injured, their souls are dead. Children of World is a campaign not only about saving lives of these children, but it's also about saving the future of the generations. Everyone knows the importance of children, the importance of taking care of them in their growing phases, importance of education, disciplining them, importance of making them happy, having a happy childhood. Therefore, in Muslim Charity, we believe that the Children of World campaign is not only about the children, about saving their lives, but it's also about the future generations.
Muslim Charity initially started working in Pakistan since 1996. Till now, we have done a lot of developmental work in the country. The main campaign is of the street children, which is comes under the campaign of Children of the World, in which we are working on the street children in Pakistan, in Karachi. We are working on the drug rehabilitation, and where we focus the children of 8 to 14 years. We have the center there, and we fund that center for the rehabilitation.
In Muslim Charity, our process starts by mobilizing the surroundings, the communities where Muslim Charity, along with its partners, starts these projects. A typical example of this project is Peshawar, a metropolitan city in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan. In this city, historically, you have a large number of Afghan refugees. When these refugees came in 80s, they were welcomed by the Pakistanis. They are still welcomed by the Pakistanis because of their generosity, of their hospitality. But today, the poverty has so much prevailed in this city that you have a lot of children who are on the street. They are either Afghanis or Pakistanis. We call them children at risk. These are the children, if you drive in the metropolitan cities of Pakistan, you see them begging, you see them collecting the garbages, you see them everywhere. But the type of lives they live, they're horrible. They are beyond the imagination of a person. These children, they go through physical, emotional, sexual abuse.
They are vulnerable to so many things like the child abuse, then the drug. Then we have the children which works in the workshops and in the areas where the population is more. We have a lot of children working like that. Their age is from 8 to 14 years, and they again are very, very vulnerable because the whole day they remain alone.
it's very difficult to say that what it is really the cause of these children being on the street, because each child is different from other. Each child has its own story. You have children like Malik on the street, who comes from a family where they were bonded slaves. Now Malik is a very depressed child, because when he wakes up in the morning, the only thing he thinks about is that how many rupees I can collect today. He roams around the footpath, he waits for the signals that it's red, and he goes to the cars and asks for the money. When our mobilizers, they get in touch with them, he started asking his story. So it takes some times of interaction with them, and this interaction helps to develop a trust between the child and the social mobilizer. Once this trust is there, then they start telling their story.
बेटा आप यहाँ पे क्या करते हो?
हाँ,
आप यहाँ पे सारा दिन क्या करते हैं?
मांगता है।
मांगता है। तो मांग के उस पैसे के साथ क्या करते हैं आप?
हाँ, खर्चा करता है, गरीब लोग हैं।
आप स्कूल नहीं जाते?
हाँ,
आप स्कूल नहीं जाते?
रिंग रोड पे पढ़ते हैं। रिंग रोड पे पढ़ते हैं।
आपको पढ़ना लिखना आता है? क्या पढ़ सकते हो? गिनती सुनाओ ना।
ABC पढ़ता हूँ।
मेरे बेटा आप कितने पैसे कमाते हो दिन में मांग के?
200-300 कर लेता हूँ।
अच्छा, तो अगर आप स्कूल जाना चाहते हैं, कुछ खेलते भी हो? क्या खेलते हो?
खेलता है फुटबॉल।
फुटबॉल खेलते हो?
छुट्टी
फुटबॉल में क्या खेलते हैं आप?
गोल खेलते हैं।
हाँ?
इस तरह छुट्टी देता है गोल
अच्छा,
खेलते हैं।
गोल शोल कर लेते हो या मेरी तरह नहीं कर पाते? कभी गोलकीपर भी बने हो? नहीं बने? वो भी यहाँ पे आई हैं आपके साथ? तो आप कैसे आए हो वहाँ से?
वहाँ से माँ बाप देखते हैं। मैं यहाँ हूँ।
अच्छा अच्छा, तो आप रहते कहाँ हो यहाँ?
रिंग रोड।
अच्छा, तो यहाँ से कब वापस जाते हो?
हाँ,
यहाँ से कब वापस जाते हो सोने के लिए?
1 महीना।
1 बजे आए थे, तो अभी कितने बजे तक यहाँ पे रहोगे?
2 बजे जाएंगे।
अच्छा, आपके और दोस्त भी आएंगे यहाँ पे?
नहीं,
यहाँ पे और दोस्त नहीं आते? आप अकेले होते हो?
यहाँ सारे
हाँ।
मॉर्निंग रोड है।
अच्छा, तो अभी शाम
So Malik's mother will be advised by the social mobilizers to go the shelters established by the government with the name of Pinaga. Pakistani government have established these shelters in the metropolitan cities like Lahore, Peshawar, Karachi, and these shelters are there for the people what we call homeless, because we categorize Malik's mother as a homeless, and she is. Now, what about the children? What we will be doing with these children is, with her children, Malik and his family and his brothers, that we will be supporting them to get them into the school for education, but as well as to provide them the support which we call psychosocial assistance, where we give them counseling. And then in case of Peshawar, the government has established a very, very interesting project which is called the Children of State.
So currently, basically, the issue of child sexual abuse, and we have here in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa basically reported 4 or 5 cases in the last month. Basically, our Chief Minister in person visit the victim family and meet us, and our Chief Secretary and even our IG Police personally visit their houses. I myself visited to their houses. And basically the provincial government is fully committed, not only the provincial government but even the federal government, which is led by the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan. Mr. Imran Khan himself called 2-time meetings in this subject, that to basically and direct the different stakeholders that you put together and initiate some plans, some programs to basically ensure the protection and welfare of children from sexual exploitation as well.
Now, Abdul Rahman is a child who is using the drugs, who is actually living in a sewerage hole, a terrible place. We as a human being, and we're coming from the different part of the world, we can't really think of even looking into this hole. It's dark, even during the day, and it smells horrible because this is a sewerage hole. Now, he along with his cousin have closed the hole from one side so the water does not get in. But in case of Abdul Rahman, there is another evil which 75% of children get addicted to, and that is drugs. Abdul Rahman is a drug addict. He has been in this place at least for last 6 months.
ਇਹ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਦੋਂ ਆਦਤ ਪਈ ਸੀ ਇਸ ਦੀ?
इसको कोई 4 साल हो गए।
4 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ।
हाँ छोटा जगह तो पई सी
ਅੱਛਾ, ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡਣੇ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ?
कीती है बहुत सारी कीते छड़े नहीं गए जाने
बुरी
फिर आदत बाढ़ गई।
ਬਸ ਲੱਗ ਗਈ ਹੁਣ ਛੱਡਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਪਈ।
हाँ
ਅੱਛਾ, ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹੈ ਛੱਡਣੇ ਦਾ?
हाँ यार दिल कहता है क्यों नहीं कहता
ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਕਿੰਜ ਹੋ ਸੀ ਇਹ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਛੱਡ ਸੋ?
हाँ बस काटे बचा दो क्योंकि ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਦੁਆ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੁਆਵਾਂ ਦੇਂਗੇ।
ਪਹਿਲੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡਣੇ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਨੇ?
पहले चाचे के साथ रहता था ना को थोड़े हमारे पास पीन देगा था इसलिए तो छड़ जाता था। फिर जब अफीम खत्म हो जाती फिर नशे में लग
ਇਹ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਆਦਤ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਪਈ ਸੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ?
गया। ये हमको लगाया था मुनेर ने
हाँ?
बुआ का पुत्र जानता
ਹਾਂ,
उसमें लगा
अच्छा,
कमाने जाता उसके साथ काम करता था ना
हाँ।
वो नशा करता था इसको आदत पड़ गई।
तो अभी यहाँ इतने किਵੇਂ ਰਹਿ ਲੰਮਣਾ ਯਾਰ? ਇਹ ਤੇ ਬੜੀ ਤੰਗ ਜੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਹੈ।
पर गुजारा करके तो
ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਸ਼ੈਲਟਰ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਬਈ ਉੱਥੇ ਗਰੀਬ ਰਹਿਣ, ਉੱਥੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ
तो
ਜਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਉਸ पता ही को नहीं?
एक बैग में तो भी निकल हमको गरीबों को पानी भी नहीं पीने देते थे गिलासों में।
अच्छा,
ये होटल वाला है हमको चाय लेने जाते पानी भी नहीं देता।
खाना शाना कहाँ से खाते हो?
अपना जाता है लेकर खाता है 10-20 रुपए की देता है रोटी लेकर खा लेता है।
तो अभी फिर आपकी क्या मदद की जाए, कैसे की जाए?
हम गरीब लोग के बस क्या बोलेंगे जिनकी हमारा बात है तो मेरी बात कहता है इसमें जिनकी ना खराब हो गई।
When our social mobilizer talked to him, and even when I spoke to him, he said, I am just few days here. But his cousin said, we are here for 6 months. Now, this is not something strange for us, because street children, they lie. And they lie for a reason. They lie for their protection and to get your sympathy, to take off some money from you to buy the drugs again. Now, this is a very complex situation, because these children will do anything to get the drugs. When I say anything, then it's also the sexual abuse. They don't do it willingly. They do it because they need money. They are exploited sometimes by the grown-up, sometimes by the people we can't imagine of. The children like Abdul Rahman, when they end up on the street, the very first things they come across is the abuse and the sexual abuse.
I went there and I understood the phenomena. The first day I started crying there. There were tears in my eyes there. These are the people which is the part of the Pakistan. They are the citizen of Pakistan.
So the drugs addict street children phenomena is very complex itself. It's all interlinked. So the crime, the drugs, the begging, the sexual abuse, they're all like a circle. Now, This makes it really difficult to get this child out of the street, because what is needed is, when our social mobilizer identify them, they can bring these children out of this environment, horrible environment. You can provide them psychosocial services, and this is what we do. But drug phenomena is a medical issue as well, because you need to do the detoxification. Now, Peshawar has some centers for detoxification, and at the moment there is no specific center working on the children. And this is where the government as a partners comes into this project.
نو بیا دې څومره نن سهار دې څښلي دي؟ کله پرون شپې دې څه ټایم څښلي وو؟
ماخوستن اذان نه بعد
اذان نه پس شپې
سهار کې مې سهار مولا بانګونو سره مې بیا وڅښل.
مولا بانګونو سره دې مو څښلو، هغې نه پس؟
هغې نه پس مې لږ شاته وڅښل، لږ شاته و هغه مې وڅښل.
ښه، نو اوس په څه کې؟
اوس هغه ملګري ته پسې ځمه
راوړي نو هغه له پیسې ورکړي دي؟ څه له دې ورکړي دي؟ څه به راوړي دله؟ پوډر ایس نه نور؟
ایس ماخوستن کې سره ملګری ملاوي کې هغه نه بیا
ښه صحیح. نو ورځ دې څنګه تېره شوه؟ ښه تېره شوه؟
ستاسو څه ورځ څنګه؟
زما ورځ خو ډېره ښه تېره شوه. روټۍ دې خوړلې ده؟ څه دې وخوړو روټۍ کې؟ لوبیا. ما هم پرون لوبیا خوړلې وه ماښام.
Now, these children who are drug addicts, who are on the street and they are sexually abused, to deal with them is not a matter of days and hours, but it's a matter of months and years. So these children, if they don't get it and they are not having the detoxification and they don't have the drugs, they injure themselves by sharp knives, because this is how they feel. You see them, all the time that when they don't have drugs, they don't talk to you. Even to our social mobilizers, they ask for drugs when they are asked that. They say, I won't respond to you, I won't talk to you, I need drugs.
Once we started working with the children at Texali, we developed a book which is known as Apni Hifazat in Urdu. It means the self-protection, where we teach the children how to protect themselves. And then we tell their families also how to protect your children. In Peshawar, on streets, again, we tells them how to protect yourself. So we are working on this, although we don't have that much of the lobbying to go for the legislation, but for the prevention we are working. We have a proper syllabi for that, and we are telling the children how to protect themselves.
Now, the process of detoxification, the process of counseling, the process of taking them to a physical shelter and introducing them to their rights. The right of a child is a play, that he is able or she is able to play. They have right of expression. So these projects are also covering all these rights. We are often asked how many children being rescued from the street. And we tell them the process of rescue is only to get them in touch with a shelter. And that's rescue. It itself alone takes days and months. And when these children are rescued, then the next process starts. Now, this process is also having the legal compliances. According to the Pakistani Constitution, you just can't take a child and bring it to the shelter. you have to give information to the police. So they are being registered with the police. And once they are sent to the transitional shelter, Zumankor, you have to have the permission from a judge, from a magistrate. So the government of Pakistan have made efforts, and they're really very supportive. I mean, so when we go to a judge with a child, alhamdulillah, we get a lot of support from the government.
The objective of this office and basically the plan and program of this office, that we believe on partnerships. We believe on joint ventures. Because in isolation the government do nothing.
Our donors are very emotional about this project. They want to do something for them. So they're doing it, inshallah, and we want to continue it further.
They might be able to get the medical assistance, but their souls are injured. Their souls are dead. And with the support of our donors, with the support of Government of Pakistan and the local partners, we are supporting these children to fight for the survival and to have a better future.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am 10 years old. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am 13 years old.
They live every day a hopeless life. They don't see any hope because they have no future.
तो उनकी कोई प्रॉपर वो नहीं होती है, इनकी मतलब कोई शेल्टर नहीं होता है. इसके लिए मेरे ख्याल में ये जो कर रहे हैं ना, ये चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन वाले, ये ज़रूरी है.
The most invisible abuse, other than street children, children at risk, is among the children of sex workers.
They want their children to grow. They want to do something good. Everybody, every mother of them.
In many cases, we have seen that the mother comes forward and she says, you know, subhanallah, it's amazing. I want to send my child to school because at least he or she does not see me performing this act. Our children in our living rooms, they dream about having a future, becoming a scientist, doctor, but these children, they even can't dream about it. So their dreams are also not there. Rather, they have horror nights, full of horrors, because they are sleeping on the street, where they are having problems with weathers, with all sorts of viruses. When they are ill, they don't know where to go. When it comes to emotional abuse, they live every day a hopeless life. They don't see any hope because they have no future. Unfortunately, they do not have also the role models that they can see.
तो उनकी कोई प्रॉपर वो नहीं होती है, इनकी मतलब कोई शेल्टर नहीं होता है. इसके लिए मेरे ख्याल में ये जो कर रहे हैं ना, ये चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन वाले, ये ज़रूरी है. यहाँ जो काम करते हैं वो तो ज़्यादातर उनकी वो अपने वाले दिन की रज़ामंदी से यहाँ उन्होंने ये जो वर्कशॉप है ज़्यादातर ना, उनके हवाले किए होते हैं. बाज़ जो होते हैं जो हमारे वो आवारा लड़के कहते हैं या बेगाना कहते हैं ना, वो आ जाते हैं, वो फिरते हैं ना, वो काम नहीं करते. यहाँ दो किस्म के लड़के होते हैं, एक जो है वो बेगाना जो होते हैं, जो घर से किसी फैमिली मैटर्स पे वो खफा होकर आ जाते हैं घर, और दूसरे जो है वो तंगदस्ती की वजह से वालिदैन जो है ना वो वर्कशॉप वालों के हवाले कर देते हैं.
Then we have the children going to madrasas and to school. So the situation is not that good. Since last 1.5 years, the government has carried out so many legislation, and they are trying to build up the system accordingly so that the protection to these children can be provided. The Muslim charity also does work in that area also, and we have proper partnership with the government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and we have a partner organization with the name of Azad Foundation.
Muslim Charity and its partners have a strong mobilization skill because we work with the local communities by training the staff who are locals. They understand the language, they understand the culture, and more importantly, they understand the importance of these children to get education, to get a protected environment, and where they have not only physical protection, but also we support them in getting the love and the attention they need from grown-up, from their guardians, and from their parents.
او د مور پلار قدر بم کو د مشرانو عزت بم کو او د استادانو باندې انتهایی احترام کو ځکه چې چا د استاد قدر نه کړي ناغه چته وسر نه جوړ شوی قال رسول الله صلی الله علیه و وسلم انا بعثت معلما نبی صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم جو معلم مجھے معلم بنا کر بھیجا گیا ہے اور جو بندہ معلم کی رسپیکٹ کرے گا قدر کرے گا تو وہی کچھ بن جائے گا اگر وہ معلم اور استاد قدر اور رسپیکٹ نہ کہی ناغه یې سم نشي جوړې دی ٹھیک شو سبق او استاد احترام وکاو یو کس
The social mobilization skill and the skill of a social mobilizer plays, what we call a street worker, plays a very important role because they start from identification of the children. They know the hotspots that where these children are, because the street children, they stay in together. You will very rarely find a child roaming alone on the street. Rather, they have their own friends, because this is how they feel protected. So you have a boy who is a bit older, and then you have a smaller boy with him. Because the smaller boy will automatically feel that he can provide me protection, and he is better than me because he has been longer on the street, and he knows where to get the feed, and then the most dangerous thing, the drugs.
ये सेक्सुअल एक्सप्लॉयटेशन के वो आदी हो जाते हैं फिर, और इसके अगर जैसे कि ये चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन वाले कर रहे हैं ना, तो अगर इस तरह ये अपने हाथ में ले और ये दूसरी साइड से कंट्रोल कर ले तो मेरे ख्याल में ये काम कर सकते हैं, ये अच्छा काम है.
If I take the statistic of last year, we were able to send 17 students from the Texali area to the government school, and we were able to send 26 students from Peshawar area, from street children areas, to the government schools. So I think it will create a great impact in the coming years. It's about 37 children which have been mainstreamed, and they are studying in the school, and as per our report, their progress is very good. And this year, in year 2020, we are expecting that we will be sending about 35 to 40 children more to the main schools.
If you get these children detected early, it's so easy to reintegrate them back into the family. But the longer a child stays on the street, the worse it becomes. It includes also girls. But in case of girls, you don't see them as much on the street. There are girls at risk on the street, but this is a very specific phenomena because they are linked to their parents. They migrate all the time from city to city. So these girls, they are very less, but there are very vulnerable, the ones who are out of their home. The reason why you see so less girls on the street is simply it doesn't mean that they don't run away from home. It does not mean they are not affected by poverty. It does not mean that they are not vulnerable. They are. But typically, they get easy access to the people home. And then it becomes invisible for us. There is a sexual abuse. We know of it. But unfortunately, this is a phenomena where at the moment Muslim charity cannot address it because we really don't have the resources. The most invisible abuse, other than street children, children at risk, is among the children of sex workers. Although Pakistan is the Islamic Republic of Pakistan and the sex work is forbidden, but at the same time you have clusters where people do go and they exploit the women and the children. The government of Pakistan have a very tough instance on it, but unfortunately when it comes to the implementation, the things are being ignored and overlooked. In metropolitan city like Lahore, we have still a red light area unofficially, and in this red light area, these women, the sex workers, they provide sex for very minimum money, as minimum as 200 rupees. Now, their clients are rickshaw drivers, their clients are people with the low income. Now, unfortunately, this happens during the daytime as well as in the night, but the most of the clients they have is during the daytime.
आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम शुमाइला है।
शमाइला, आपकी कितनी उम्र है?
मेरी उम्र 28 साल।
28 साल है
जी।
आपके कितने बच्चे हैं?
मेरे माशाल्लाह 4 बच्चे हैं।
4 बच्चे हैं।
जी।
लाहौर में आए हुए कितना अर्सा हो गया?
लाहौर में मैं बहुत छोटी थी जब से लाहौर में आई।
आपकी उस वक्त कितनी उम्र थी?
तकरीबन 2-2.5 साल हो गई, इतनी सी थी।
अच्छा जी।
मेरी एज छोटी थी जब मैं इस काम में पड़ी थी, तकरीबन 14-15 साल हो गई। हाँ जी।
वजह क्या थी, कैसे आई?
घर के हालात, मजबूरियाँ इंसान की 100 होती हैं। वाला साहब सर पे नहीं थे, जिसकी वजह से ये काम हमें करना पड़ा।
आपके वाले सब फोत हो गए?
हाँ जी, फोत हो गए।
आपकी उस वक्त एज क्या थी शमाइला?
मेरी एज उस टाइम 17-18 साल थी जब वाले साहब फोत हुए।
तो आप कैसे आई? आपके साथ कौन कांटेक्ट में आया, कैसे आया?
वो लोग थे
कौन लोग?
जिनसे मैंने सीखा था डांस वगैरह। अभी तो वो भी वफात पा चुके हैं।
अभी आप ये जो काम करती हैं, ये घर पे करती हैं, ये कहाँ?
अभी तो मैं ये काम नहीं कर रही हूँ फ़िलहाल।
अच्छा।
अभी वो सिस्टर ही है जो गई हुई है।
वो आपको पैसे भेजती हैं?
हाँ जी, वो पैसे भेजती है तो घर का गुजारा होता है।
आपके बच्चे स्कूल में जाते हैं किसी में?
मेरे बच्चे स्कूल में इधर ही पढ़ते हैं।
अच्छा।
लेकिन मेरे बच्चों को कुछ भी नहीं आता था, पर अल्लाह का शुक्र है अभी वो नाम वगैरह पढ़ना लिखना सब कुछ आ गया।
अच्छा, अभी आपकी कितनी बेटियां हैं, बेटे हैं?
एक ही बेटी है।
एक ही बेटी?
हाँ जी।
ठीक है। तो उसको आप दूसरे स्कूल में भी डालेंगी बाद में?
दूसरे स्कूल में फ़िज़ा नहीं डालना है हमको।
अच्छा, ठीक है। आप मुझे ये बताएं कि इस बेटी के वालिद साहब कहाँ हैं?
इस बेटी के वालिद साहब भी उनसे हैं। आपको पता है अभी इस फील्ड में कौन वालिद साहब होता है?
उसके ऊपर वालिद साहब का नाम तो होगा।
वालिद साहब का नाम नहीं लिखा हुआ, मेरा नाम लिखा हुआ है।
आप अगर हमें ये बताना चाहें कि इस काम में क्या मुश्किलात हैं, लड़कियों के साथ क्या होता है, मार पिटाई होती है, क्या कैसे रहती हैं, इसमें क्या मजबूरियाँ हैं शमाइला?
मजबूरियाँ तो बहुत सारी होती हैं इंसान की, बस अल्लाह जो भी करे बेहतर करेगा।
वो तो हम सारों का यकीन है बहन मेरी।
हाँ।
लेकिन फिर भी आप जब सोचती हैं, बैठती हैं, आप एक यंग औरत हैं, मुराद है, तो इंसान के कुछ ना कुछ ख्वाब तो होते हैं ना कि मैं ये चाहती हूँ कि मेरे साथ ये मुस्तकबिल हो।
कुछ भी नहीं, जब बच्चों को देखो तो फिर अपनी ख्वाहिशें ख़त्म हो जाती हैं, बच्चों को देखना पड़ता है।
आपकी बच्चों की ख्वाहिश क्या है, आप बच्चों के लिए?
मेरे बच्चों की ख्वाहिश यही है कि अच्छे पढ़े लिखें, अच्छा काम करें बस।
अच्छा।
कि जिस दौर से मैं गुजरी उस दौर से मेरे बच्चे नहीं गुजरे।
You see, the mothers are busy. The sex workers' mothers are very busy, but we have session for them also, twice in a month. We call them to the place, we tell them how to protect yourself, how to protect your children, and we then counsel them to send your children to the main school. Initially, they were not ready to send them to the school because they were saying that once these children will go to the schools, there will be a lot of discrimination. But we said that, okay, we will look after them. So once they went to the school, yes, initially there was some discrimination, but we with a partner, Muslim Charity with its partners, went to the schools to arrange some activities, mixed activities of both the students, and that's how we make them mainstream. It is the mothers who are willing then to go, to let them to go to school, and that's why we were successful. Otherwise, if we would have not done the counseling of the mothers, it would have been very difficult to send them to the schools.
Muslim Charity has established in the red light area of Lahore, which is unfortunately behind a very famous Badshahi Mosque and the Red Fort, the Qila of Lahore, and near the old cities. Now, during the daytime, we bring these children out to a place which is located within this area because we cannot take them away, far away from there. So we give them the literacy, the basic literacy, up to the level where they can go to school. Now, this project is helping us also to provide counseling to these women. So inshallah, with the zakat, we want to link to create alternate source of income for them. But we are working on to build the capacities of our partners to work at that level.
मेरा नाम तैयब है, मैं शीट सोसाइटी एज ए चेयरमैन काम कर रहा हूँ। शीट सोसाइटी बेसिकली फाउंडर जोन सी थी वो लुबना तैयब थी, और हमने काम स्टार्ट किया था इन 95। तो डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ हम लोग काम करते रहे, लोकल और इंटरनेशनल एनजीओज़ के साथ। 2002 में हमें सीडा की तरफ से एक एजुकेशन के ऊपर एक छोटा सा प्रोजेक्ट हमने किया, यही बच्चों के लिए जो रेड लाइट एरिया के फीमेल सेक्स वर्कर्स के बच्चे हैं, इनके साथ हमने एजुकेशन पे काम किया। मुस्लिम चैरिटी जैसा जब हमने काम शुरू किया तो कुछ जो हमारा एक तरीक़ाकार था काम का वो तो हम कर रहे थे, मगर इनके कुछ इनोवेटिव से कुछ आइडियाज़ थे कि इस तरह आप कर लें, इस तरह कर लें तो ये ज़्यादा बेहतर होगा। लाइक इन्होंने हमें बेसिकली बच्चों को यहाँ से लाकर, ये वो बच्चे हैं जो कि एक तो फीमेल सेक्स वर्कर्स के बच्चे हैं जो कि स्कूल नहीं जाते। फीमेल सेक्स वर्कर्स जो माएँ हैं वो बच्चों को टाइम नहीं दे पाती क्योंकि ये रात को अपनी बिज़नेस के में इन्वॉल्व रहती हैं, जिसकी वजह से सुबह ये लेट उठती हैं और बच्चों को वो टाइम नहीं दे सकती जो प्रॉपर स्कूल्स में भेजना चाहिए इनको। तो हमारा जो इनिशिएटिव था वो ये था कि हम लोग इन बच्चों को यहाँ से अपने स्कूल में लेकर आएँ। हमारी टाइमिंग भी जो सी है वो तकरीबन 1 to 5 है, ताकि बच्चे ईजी होकर आएँ और उन बच्चों को इतना हम सिखा सकें, पढ़ा सकें कि उन बच्चों को हम फर्दर आगे गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में मेन स्ट्रीम कर सकें। अब इन बच्चों के साथ प्रॉब्लम साथ साथ चल रही है, इनके फादर नेम्स नहीं हैं, बेफॉर्म नहीं है इनके, तो वो भी फिर हमें मुस्लिम चैरिटी सपोर्ट करती है कि आप इनके बेफॉर्म भी बनाएं और इनको बिहाफ ऑफ शीट सोसाइटी इनको हम गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में फिर आगे मेन स्ट्रीम करते हैं कि जी आप लोग जाएं और दाखिला लें वहाँ पे। जो मेजर प्रॉब्लम है वो प्रॉब्लम इनकी माइग्रेशन है। इनकी माइग्रेशन बड़ी फ्रीक्वेंटली है। अगर आज ये 6 माह साल अगर आज ये इस एरिया में है तो नेक्स्ट 6 मंथ और अगले 8-10 मतलब साल के लिए लोग किसी और एरिया में चले जाएंगे जहाँ पे इनको बिज़नेस मिलेगा। तो वो माइग्रेशन की वजह से बच्चों का ड्रॉप आउट जो एक वो सिस्टम है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है। तो उस गैप को हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कवर करने की कि किसी तरीके से उसको भी हम कवर करें और उस चीज़ को भी हम लेकर चलें।
आप मुझे बताइए कि आपके ख्याल में इस एरिया में कितनी ख़वातीन हैं और कितने बच्चे हैं?
सर अभी तो कम है, मगर इन स्टार्ट जब हमने काम स्टार्ट किया था यहाँ पे 4 से 5 हज़ार फीमेल सेक्स वर्कर्स सिर्फ इस एरिया में थी। बाहर से लोग आने शुरू हो गए तो वो एरिया इसलिए फिर थोड़ा सा कम हो गया। हाँ जी, वो उसके अंदर से करें ना। अब यहाँ पे तो स्पेसिफिकली एक एरिया है ना, हमें ये पता है कि सामने गली में सामने घर में एक बिल्डिंग है, उसमें 5 हाउस होल्ड है। जब हमने एक सर्वे किया था तो उसमें हमने फिर ये देखा था कि मतलब एक बिल्डिंग में, अब जैसे लाइक ये बिल्डिंग है तो इसमें 5-5 फैमिलीज़ रह रही हैं एक कमरे में, क्योंकि वो उनका वो उसी उस पे था वो।
Now, in case of these brothel children, they are being brought into this center, which is located in their area. They are being engaged and they are being provided counseling. In many cases, we have seen that the mother comes forward and she says, you know, Subhanallah, it's amazing. I want to send my child to school because at least he or she does not see me performing this act.
They want their children to grow. They want to do something good. Everybody, every mother of them want to their children should be educated. They should have a good future, a proper future like the other children. So all the time they're requesting to keep this project continue so that our children should go to the school and get the education.
So for the women in brothel, we are providing them at the moment counseling, but we do not have resources. Inshallah, we are thinking of using the zakat fund, that once we have zakat, we will start the small entrepreneurship for them specifically. So what we're trying to do them is to make them understand and to have this self-awareness that I don't need to sell my body to make my living. Rather, there are alternate ways of doing it. So we are at the moment at stage of counseling, and we are inshallah very soon, hopefully once we have the resources, we'll try to help them also by providing them financial support to start small entrepreneurs.
बस हम चाहते हैं कि ये जो मसाइल है बच्चों के, जो चाइल्ड लेबर है या इनको तालीम नहीं है, हम ये इन तमाम चैरिटी से और फाउंडेशन से ये तवक्को करते हैं कि ये ज़रूर करें.
So it's my dream sometime, may Allah have the resources, give us the resources that we can do such like of thing for these children.
मेरे बच्चे जो उनसे अच्छी तालीम हासिल करें, अच्छे पढ़ें, कल को वो कुछ बने, मेरा यही ख्वाब है, उनकी तरबियत अच्छी हो.
My dream is to have a world, a country, a city, a town, a village, a community, and a household where there is no exploitation of these children. My dream is to have a future generation which has not suffered any exploitations. And this is the dream I work to chase.